Now football is a pleasant game, played in the sun, played in the rain, and the team that gets me excited, Manchester United, Manchester, Manchester United, a bunch of bouncing Busby babes, they deserve to be knighted. If ever they're playing in your town, you must get to that football ground. Take a lesson, come to see football taught by Matt Busby and Manchester, Manchester United.
Well, I was playing secondary juvenile football in Scotland, in Stirlingshire, and I'd have been approached by a few clubs and played a couple of reserve games for Dundee and for Falkirk, and then just played one game one day, and a man came up to me afterwards and asked me if I was interested in going down to United. So I came down in trial and they subsequently signed me. Well, you must remember that people didn't travel as far in those days. It was like a major journey for me to travel down by train. And when I got there, of course, the accent was completely foreign to me. I'd never been out of Scotland at 16. I'd never been anywhere. And so all that was strange, but it was very, very exciting. And of course, they were the one English team then who had a massive image in Scotland simply because of the Busby Babes, you know, and the fact that Matt Busby was a Scottish manager. Well, I know that there was one guy who had a massive influence, though I didn't realise at the time. He was always supportive of me, and he was the coach, John Astor, whose son played for the team as well.
My second question
is it? Well, I didn't really realise at the time, but I went through a very rough period after I was at the club for 6 months or so. I started to struggle to play very well, and I found out subsequently that he was constantly backing my ability. When I was there, Jimmy Murphy was just starting to sort of step backwards out of the scene a little bit, but I know he was a hard taskmaster and demanded high standards. Well, he talked to me when it came time to offer me a contract, so he took me in and talked to me then, and he talked to me about building up my strength. I was quite skinny and weak, I suppose, when I was younger, but I had some ability, so he explained that he would try to build you up, you know, and in fact they made me do a period of weight training when I went back home in the summer to Scotland. It's still an Albion's ground. Well, to be honest, I'd been playing really well in the reserves, and the lads I was playing with kept saying that you'll get a game in the first team soon. But you kind of don't believe it. You just think, I'm playing okay now, keep focused and keep playing. And then they just told me that I was going to West Brom in the first team. And I kind of thought maybe that was it. But they never told me until an hour or so before the game.
Can you remember the result?
I think we drew. 3-3, yeah.
Right.
Much so, I think it was the first time in my life I scored with a left foot volley. I scored with the left foot coming. Somebody pulled it back from the left wing.
Do you recall who it was who scored the Villa goal?
Oh no, I don't know.
Phil Roos.
Was it?
Yeah.
Amazing. I think probably not getting a run affected your confidence, you know, but each time I went into the team or I was on the bench and came on for periods, you feel as though you're still trying to prove something, and that makes it a little bit more difficult to really come out and play well, you know. The Garnet game I remember very well because I never felt so exhausted in a game in my life, and we had to work really hard to beat that team. Right, but I was kind of involved in it. You know, I sort of mishit a shot back across the goals. In fact, a few of the players thought I'd scored. To be honest, I didn't even see where the ball went, so I had no idea who'd scored. I was surprised because I knew I hadn't hit it particularly well. But the main thing I remember from that is feeling absolutely goosed by the end of the game. You know? Well, I had a feeling for a year or so that I should leave. You know, the thing is, it's a very difficult thing to break ties with a club like that because they're always been very much a family type of club, you know? And it's a great place to be. I think really I should have left a year before that. So when finally Luton came in, we went down. Me and another player called Don Gibbons joined together. We were impressed with it. We were impressed with what they said. We were impressed with their little club, and you even got that kind of homely feeling that you got at United. So it was a relatively simple decision to make. I think maybe they lost the superstars. You know, they had 3 players who won European Footballer of the Year. Very, very high quality players. And Dennis got an injury that was caused them to miss a lot of games. George kind of went off the rails a little bit, and Bobby, although he played well, was getting older as well. So I think losing those 3 superstars, and that's what they were, was the biggest problem for United. I loved it at Luton Town. You know, I had one bad season when I dislocated my collarbone and it wouldn't heal, so I ended up missing 3-4 months of football. And that was only down periods. We worked hard and eventually got promoted to the First Division, but it was one of the great disappointments of my life. The year we were promoted was the same year United were relegated. And I spent the whole of the promotion season dreaming about playing at Old Trafford again, only to find that they had gone down. Oh, well, he was a great guy to work with because he was such a great guy. You know, I hardly ever saw him in a bad mood. He was always laughing all the time. He wanted you to play football. He was very free flowing, you know, wanted that kind of play. And it was when he was managing us that we went up. And that's not to say anything against Alex Stott, because I think he was also an extremely good manager. We got off to a very bad start. I was banned for first 3 games of the season, I think. We just got off to a bad start. The second half of the season we really started to rally and
beat some really good clubs.
Yeah, and it came down to the last game of the season when the Fleets had beaten Tottenham. I think Tottenham would have went down if I'm not.
Yeah, there was just you went down, I think, on goal.
Yeah. We were a little bit unlucky. The memories I've got of that time was coming to a foreign country, and I really enjoyed, especially the first couple of years, I really enjoyed the lifestyle in Addison and playing for the team. I made friends inevitably with the English guys who came and played, Jeff Morgan, Bobby Hope and John O'Hare. They were kind of buddies for me. I don't really know. I do know how it happened, but I wasn't really involved with the union. I wasn't the union representative. But they took a straw poll to find out would we come out on a lightning strike, and we all said yeah. I think it was 90% or something. And I come from a mining village in Scotland where the miners, when they strike, everybody strikes. You know, that's not it's not almost a choice. It's for the greater good of everybody else. So when the time came to go out, I thought it was my culture and my upbringing to do that, you know. Well, it was so difficult that I didn't even try. And it was just a fluke. I went to watch United playing down in Luton. Met one of the guys there who asked me if I had taken my coaching qualifications. I told him I'd come home and taken it. I had a full English licence. And 2 months later he phoned up and said, we have a vacancy here, do you want to come and interview for it? I'm not really sure. Everybody thinks that the manager, because the manager's Scottish, they think he was a friend of mine. I'd only met him once. We played them in soccer sixes, five-a-side. We knocked United out. We won. In fact, we won it. We won the thing. And the only time I talked to him was after that game. We had to go and get something before we went back to look something to eat. And he came across and he was very, very gracious about because we just beat him, you know. I remember being very nice about the whole thing and saying, well done, you boys did well, blah, blah, blah. And that was the only contact, really. And the only other thing was we loaned him Les Sealand because Les had lost sort of motivation because it was all young players that we played. And I suggested that we could have him from loan to the end of the season as long as we could have him back, because we were both in a relegation battle, both of us. And then he just called me out of the blue when I'd left. Just called one night. There wasn't that much really. I think there was just, when I was there as a player, you had the feeling they could beat anybody. I didn't quite get that feeling when I first came back, but I soon acquired it because the manager by that time was just getting everything going, you know. And initially when I started coaching the reserves, they weren't such a great team, but within 2 seasons they were like that, you know. They won the league. Yeah, I think they're very much alike. The main thing they both have is a longer vision of how their team is going to be. They achieve it in slightly different manners, but they still have a lot of the same qualities, you know. And one of the qualities is they're both down-to-earth people. You know, we talked to Busby. It was fantastic, you know. He just talked as though you were. He was such a great man to have been in that crash with all those players. He was kind of awe-inspiring, but when you talk to him, he was real down to earth. He likes a fight. He enjoys fighting, you know. He enjoys the combat of arguing with their coaches, with their players, the referees, whoever it is, you know, standing up for his own club. He really enjoys it, whereas to most people it wears you down. It seems to thrive on it. Well, really, it's from 12-year-old up to 20, I think, you know. But mainly I concentrate on the boys who come full-time to the club from 15, 16 years old to 18, 19, their first years there. We're lucky now we've got Warren as a coach who can take the boys from that age and give them some more professionalism and more fitness, stronger. So I tend to concentrate on the youth team, that's under 18s. In the work I do. No, I think for the boys who succeed, they show the same qualities. I think, you know, basically it's the same qualities. The game's changed a lot. The club's even bigger than they were then, and more people who work for them, sports scientists, all the rest of it. But basically, you need to have the same qualities. I think it's in the DNA. If you look at the history, I don't, you know, and people, it's so long ago, the 50s, the 40s, that people don't realise. When Mark Busby took over the club, they didn't even have a stadium that had been bombed by the Germans during the war. They had to play at Main Road. He took that club from basically nothing to one of the best teams in Europe with one of the youngest teams. He started playing young players all the time. Duncan Edwards was 16 when he played in the first team. That was unheard of in those days, really. And those young players played such great football. And then, of course, they pioneered the work going to Europe. It turned out to be, Busby was absolutely correct in his analysis of that, and had this disaster which really, in a way, cemented them in the hearts of lots of people. It was such a romantic story, if you like. Well, I think there's a couple of reasons. First of all, the market for United to take players from has grown. They take players from South America, France, all through Europe, even Korea. Where's Jason Park from? Korea, I think. So they've got players from a massive market now. So therefore, it means they're trying to take the cream from these countries, which leaves less places for or a higher standard required for the young players coming in. But I think one thing the manager makes sure is that lots of boys get opportunities to show what they can do.
Nucleus of local.
Yeah, it's nucleus of local. Yeah. I think the problem is bigger. It's growing in proportion to the amount of money that's in the game. And I think the main complaint is that some agents don't appear to be looking after the boys' futures they're playing. They're more concerned with the amount of money that can be earned by moving somewhere else. And that's the main problem, I think. Don't really have very much trouble with that in Manchester, because the managers make sure that there are no big time Charlies at any age, whether it's 16, 17, 18 or 29, 30, 32. Well, he's going to be a hard man to follow, and he's a man who runs the whole club, everything from the youth. He's interested in everything. He comes to youth cup games all the time to see the youth team play in the cup. So Well, they're different. I knew Bobby Charlton from television and thought he was such an elegant player, fantastic. So I knew him when I came. Dennis Law was already an idol to me because, of course, he played in the Scottish national team and kept scoring goals and really was such an exciting player. And I joined within a month of George Best, and we were kind of friends for a long time together. So the three of the greatest players in Europe, that's sort of the abiding memory, general memory, you know, as well as the fact that I made lots of friends, which I suppose every player does. I'm still friends with John Aston, and there's a guy called Willie Anderson who now lives in Portland, and I actually visited him a few years ago. So I think that period of your life's pretty special anyway.
Jimmy, it's been a privilege and a pleasure to talk to you, for you to share your experiences with us. Thank you very, very much indeed.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Jim.
All right.